Kevin Ward here at kevinnow.com. I got an email today, or a message, actually a Facebook message today, asking me about, guys, I'm a new agent, and what is the best way to market for new listings? Well, I wanted to answer that on a video here, both to send to him and then make it available for all the people that I coach. It's a great question, and it's a question that everybody asks. Now, I want to just, acknowledge the question, because the very first part of his question, or the assumption of his question, is he wants to get new listings. So here's the first key to what I'm about to show you, and that is that understanding that listings are the name of the game. Now, this is one of the things that as a real estate agent, I figured out early on. Listings are the name of the game. You should write that down in a notebook. You should write it on your mirror in your bathroom. You should just burn that into your brain and understand that listings are the name of the game. Now, why are listings the name of the game? Well, listings give you control of your business. They give you control of your time. They give you control of your life. Now, let me explain to you what I mean by that. First of all, is understand that whenever you take a listing, and this was my perspective and my approach from the time I was even a brand new agent, every time I took a listing, I hired 2,000 or 3,000 agents in my market to work for me on the weekends. Because see, here is my approach to real estate. One, real estate is not my life. Real estate enables me to have a life. And so I wanted to be able to do my business and then take the time off I wanted to take off. And so to do that, I had to have control. And if you're just going after business and you're taking anything that comes along, what do you hear traditionally is, when does all the buyers want to go look at houses, and when do agents have to be working? Well, weekends, right? You got to work on weekends because that's when everybody wants to go look at houses. Well, that can be true, but not if you have all the listings. Not if you have enough listings that you don't have to go out and work with the buyers on the weekends that you don't want to work with. And here was my approach. I didn't want to work weekends. Now, if you want to work weekends, that's great. That's a personal business decision. But the most important thing to me was I wanted to have time control. If I wanted to work on a weekend, I could. If I didn't want to, I didn't have to. And the reason I didn't have to was because I understood that listings were the name of the game. And every time I took a listing, I knew that if I did the right things and I marketed it appropriately, I priced it right, that every weekend when all the buyers were out buying, I had a buyer's agent or two, and my buyer's agents could show them if we had a buyer for them. And if not, I would let every other agent with their buyers go look at the property and write an offer and submit it to me to present to the seller. And it gave me control of my time. So every time you take listings, it gives you control of your time and of your business, and let somebody else work for you on the weekends. If you take enough listings, you got enough business, you don't have to go do open houses, you don't have to show buyers. You can if you want to, but I'm just saying it gives you control. Now, that's the first perspective. Now let's say, well, I want buyers, I like buyers. Great. What is the best way to get more buyers? What is the best way to get more business, for whether it's buyers or sellers? And here's the best way. Have more listings. Because see, what are buyers looking for? If buyers are out looking for something, what are they looking for? Well, they're looking for a house. Now, in case you haven't figured it out, buyers are not out looking for agents. They're not looking for an agent, they're looking for a house. And the only reason they ever call an agent is because they need an agent to help them through the process of actually buying a house. So you got to realize, buyers don't want me. I know it may be tough for some of your egos, but it's okay. You're still special, and you're still a very important part of the process. But understand, you're not their end goal. The house is what they want. Okay? They just see you as a part of the necessary process. Okay? If my tooth hurts, I don't want a dentist. I want my tooth to stop hurting. Okay? Do I need a dentist? I probably need a dentist. So I'm going to go to the dentist because I need him to help me through the process of getting this fixed. So the process and the result is what I want. I want my tooth not to hurt, so I go to the dentist. They want a house, so they come to an agent. So if I want to get more buyers, what should I have? I should have what buyers want. What do buyers want? They want a house. So every time I take a listing, I just got what buyers want. I actually have something to market. I actually have something to advertise. You see, here's the reality. The best physical marketing in real estate is a sign in a yard that says house for sale. Because see, what I'm doing is now I'm advertising what people want. I'm advertising what buyers want, which is a house. And it's the best marketing out there, aside from word of mouth marketing with people that you know. But putting marketing out there, I would rather advertise in front of a house for sale than a bus bench, than a newspaper, than a billboard, than even an internet website. I would rather have out there advertising what people want, and that is houses for sale. So listings are the name of the game. If you want more sellers, get listings. If you want more buyers, get listings. Either way, it gives you time control, it gives you business control, it gives you options, and it gets you more of both buyers and sellers, because success breeds success, and having listing inventory means you have what the buyers want. So that was all for free. Now let's talk about what is the best way for an agent, either new or not, to market for new listings. And I want to share with you that there are really four key pipelines that you can use to find a flow of leads to get listings. So here's basically what they are. The first pipeline, and I'm just going to draw it, here's a pipeline. The first pipeline is your personal circle. That's people that you know. It's your database. It's your sphere of influence. It's past clients. I call it your PC. It's your personal circle. You ask, and what do you do with them? You ask them who they know that's looking at buying or selling a house that you can help. Okay, so the best thing is to market to your personal circle. Now, how do you do that? Well, one, you market to them by talking to them, by calling them on the phone, by dropping by and visiting them. The most efficient way is a phone call. The next way is you can use Facebook or Twitter. You can use social media, whatever it is. Use social media to stay in touch with them. You can use direct mail of sending them cards, 4 or 5 times a year. And then one of the best and most effective ways to stay in front of them, to keep yourself at what we call top of mind awareness, is to send them e-newsletters on a regular basis. Okay, but the key is I am looking to make the people that I know in my world, my personal circle. One, I want to grow this group consistently so this pipeline has greater volume. I want to grow this pipeline, and then I want to make sure the pipeline is clear and I'm constantly pumping that pump by staying in front of them. One of the best ways is an e-newsletter that you send by email once or twice a month that has good market statistics, and it has your featured listings. When you take new listings, make sure you send it out to everybody in your database. It's a great thing to do. So the first pipeline is market to your personal circle, to the people you know. If you'll market to this group consistently, it becomes the best source of business, and you're always feeding it and growing it. So you're growing that pipeline. Now the second pipeline is what I call your turbo leads. Okay, it's the turbo pipeline. This is a high pressure line. Okay, this line is where you can get business fast. Now this is where you can market to get business fast. And how do you do that? Well, this is your expireds and your canceled listings. K in our MLS, it's K for canceled. So expired and canceled listings. For sell by owners is another source of turbo leads. NODs, notice of defaults, okay, is another lead. And probate. Now, and a probate listing is, and that's when somebody's passed away and the executor, the heirs, they're wanting to sell the property. And you can go talk to the heirs, the executors, and there's a very high probability they are going to be selling that property. So why do we call these turbo leads? The reason they're turbo is because in all 4 of these cases, you've got people who have expressed either a need or a desire at some level to sell their house. Okay, either explicitly, they've done it explicitly by the action they've taken, or just by the situation that they're in, that there's evidence that they may need or want to sell their property. So if you go out and you market to expireds, for sale by owners, NODs, and probates, that is a very, very fast return, turbo leads, which means very fast return type of prospecting or marketing to do. Now, there are 2 ways you can reach out to these people just like these. One is to actually talk to them. Best marketing out there is your mouth. You go out there and ask for the business. And if you want the most velocity through that pipeline, the best way to do it is ask for business by actually going out and making phone calls to them or talking to them. Now, another way you can do it is more of a proactive approach, which is kind of an ad approach, and that's trying to attract them either by direct mail or by advertising and so forth. It's just a much slower, less predictable, higher cost, lower return type of reaching out to them. So when I talk about marketing, to me marketing is a passive approach, whereas what we call prospecting, the old P word, is more of a proactive approach of going after them and actually asking them. If you want to get more listings, the best and fastest way to do it is go out and talk to people who've expressed either a need or desire to sell their house. Okay, does that make sense? So that's the turbo leads, all right? Now there's a third pipeline that traditionally is a pipeline used to get buyers. For me, it's a great pipeline to get sellers, and that's open houses. Now, I think open house events, and I call them open house events because the way we execute them is different than just putting a sign in the yard and open in the house and hope people come in, put some balloons out, cookies or whatever, is create actually an open house event. Now, I'm not going to do a whole clinic here on open house events, but let me just kind of give you the best way to do this if you want to get lots of people. When you just open a house, I don't care how much you've advertised it, you may have 2 people come in, you may have 20 people come in, but you really can't predict or know. But here's what you can do, is I know that if I go and knock all the doors around this house, if I go knock 200 doors, I'm going to talk to 40 or 50 people. Now, why would I go knock on their doors? Well, to invite them to the open house. So you go to their house, and this is the best marketing for an open house. It is absolutely crazy the kind of results you'll get from this. You're doing an open house, you're doing it on Saturday from 2 to 5. So on Saturday, you don't show up at the house at 1:45. You actually show up that morning, and you spend 2 or 3 hours knocking 100 to 200 doors, depending on how much time you want to take, around that house. Now, you can also do this on a Friday afternoon, on a Thursday afternoon, it doesn't matter. But you go and you knock all the doors around that house. I would say knock 200 doors. If you'll knock 200 doors and you have flyers, you only give them flyers if they answer. If they don't answer, don't give them anything. Just don't leave anything because it's junk mail. It's just litter. Just don't do it, okay? But what I'm going to do is when I knock on the door and they answer, you just introduce yourself and say, hi, my name's Kevin Ward with Keller Williams Realty. The reason I was driving by is that we're doing an open house over at your neighbor's house, the Jones house at 123 Beach Street. I just wanted to give you a flyer and invite you to come over, check out the house. We'll have some refreshments, and hopefully we can see you there. And then you always invite them, and then you say, and I was wondering, who do you know that is looking at moving into the area that might be interested in the house? And then they're going to say whatever they're going to say. We don't know of anybody, or we do, or whatever, and you get a lead if you got it. If you don't, no problem. And you just think, well, thank you so much. Hope you'll come by. Look forward to seeing you soon. And it's almost like as you're getting ready to go, you remember Columbo? For those of you that are older, when I was a little kid, we used to watch Columbo. He was a detective movie, and he always carried a cigar and had a long trench coat on. And he would ask some questions, and then he'd turn to walk away, and then he'd kind of take his cigar and he'd go like this and say, oh, one more thing. And then he would ask the real important question. Well, here's what you do with these guys. When you knock on the door, hey, just want to drop by. Here's an invitation to an open house we're doing over at 123 Beach Street. Wanted to invite you. And I was just wondering who you know that's looking at buying a home and moving into the area. And then they say, well, no one or whatever. Great, well, listen, I appreciate it so much. Hope you'll come by. Oh, by the way, just out of curiosity, when are you guys planning on moving? Now, I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not in their face. I'm not just coming up and saying, hey, when are you moving? I'm just tossing it out there, just out of curiosity. Because here's what I just told them. I have a listing. I'm working for some sellers. And guess what I'm doing? I'm working. I'm out actively looking for buyers for those sellers' homes. Now, when these people get ready to sell their house, what kind of an agent do they want? They want one that's going to be out working to help them sell their house. And I just showed them that's the kind of agent that I am. And I'm pleasant, I'm friendly, I wasn't dogging them, I wasn't even there about them, I was there to help a neighbor that I'm actually working for. And so I've got a beautiful inn, I'm there to add value, I'm not there to solicit them, I'm there to add value. And then just out of curiosity, what are you guys thinking about moving? And here's what's going to happen. Every once in a while, they're going to say, you know, that's a great question, and as a matter of fact, my wife and I were just talking about it. Or you're going to have somebody say, you know, I can't believe you asked that. It's amazing because my husband just found out on Friday that he's being transferred and we're moving back to Chicago. Really? Isn't that amazing? Well, it sounds like I got here perfect timing. And boom, you got a lead. They'll turn into a listing that'll turn into a sell. That is powerful marketing. This is one of the best pipelines you can use, and you can use it both as the prospecting around the open house. It's one of the best reasons to go knock on what we call a cold door, which means knocking on a door for no reason, you don't know anybody. Now I have a reason to knock there. I'm adding value to them, and I'm adding value to the people I'm working for, and I'm showing them that when they need to sell their house, I'm the kind of agent they will want working for them, right? Perfect. So that's what I'm doing with that. So that's the open house pipeline, creating open house events. You can do that with your own open houses. If you don't have enough listings, go find somebody in your office that has listings that you can hold open and use this strategy. Don't just go sit an open house and hope a buyer walks in. Okay? Use this strategy to proactively go out there and find business, and then when you sit the open house, one, you'll probably have more traffic because the neighbors are curious and you told them to come. And there's some other things you can do on this that I don't have time to explain right now that are really powerful that I teach my clients, my coaching clients, on how to make an open house event. Absolutely amazingly powerful. But it's just a great opportunity to go out and generate business every single weekend. Now let me just throw one other thing about open house events. You don't have to do them on weekends. You can actually do them on a Thursday afternoon or a Friday afternoon. Because what happens on a Friday afternoon, end of the week, if you were to do an open house from say 2 to 5 p.m. on a Friday afternoon, who are you going to have driving by that house? What kind of traffic are you going to have? Well, what kind of traffic you're going to have is people are out there, parents are out picking their kids out from school, they're coming home early from work, and they're just out and they see a house and go, no, let's go take a look at it. I'm less likely to get buyers walking through. What I'm more likely to get are neighbors who own homes. Now, what kind of neighbors that own a house in the neighborhood, what kind of neighbors are going to walk into an open house? Well, two kinds. One, nosy neighbors. Okay, they're nosy. All right, cool. They come in, they see the house, they leave. Great. But the other kind are neighbors who are also thinking of selling their house, and they walk in. And you can do those on Thursday and on Friday. You can do them any day of the week, actually. But on Thursdays and Fridays, late in the afternoon, moms, dads picking up their kids from school, they're coming home from work, and it's just a great time to do an open house if you want to do them during the week and not on the weekends. So just another thought for you on that. But here's the fourth pipeline. The fourth pipeline, now I'm going to compare it. Here's the turbo, which is high pressure. Okay, a lot of volume can flow through here. If you get out and pump this pump, you're going to get a lot of volume to it. But the other one is what I call trickle leads. Now, trickle business means it's going to be slower. It's going to take longer. It doesn't mean it doesn't work or it's not as good. It just means it's slower. Okay. Now, trickle leads can be all kinds of stuff. This would be, for example, it can be what we call cold calling. Okay, cold calling or cold knocking on doors, just going around knocking on doors and making cold calls. That's what I call trickle lead generating. And the reason is it's a slow return. Now, for a lot of people, cold calling, that kind of trickle lead is also very, very painful. So you don't even have to do that. If you use this approach here and this approach, this one's more painful than this one, but this one's going to get you the highest results. That's why it's turbo leads. This one is going to be slower. Now, the cold calling or cold doors, what we call cold doors or cold phones, that's what most people consider, that's cold to trickle. I mean, that's really cold water. But there's also some warm ways you can do it. Another trickle type of business is social media. Okay, social media, and really it connects with your personal circle, is how you build your personal circle, is building relationships through Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and all that kind of stuff. Now, you have to understand it takes time, and by itself is not a very strong or fast way to generate much business. Typically. Now, if you're very strategic on it and you're building the relationships, then it actually fits more up here. But down here, it's more of a trickle type media. Any kind of marketing campaign is typically what I call trickle lead generation. And that is, it works, but it takes time. Now, here's the key to making it work. If you want to do traditional marketing, like if you're doing direct mail, if you're going to do farming, the geographic farming where you pick a neighborhood and you go and you knock doors and so forth, the reason I like this is I'm taking and I'm finding a spark of activity, a spark of business, which is a listing, and I'm building on that success, and I'm working out for it, and I'm actually doing something different than the geographic farming. This is hunting. And so instead of being a farmer, I'm a hunter. And so the concept of farming is I'm going out there, I'm just kind of sowing seed. I'm just kind of letting my name get out there and so forth. And it works, it's just typically much slower. And if you're spending marketing dollars to do it, then obviously it's also more expensive, so it's less profitable. And especially for a new agent, yourself, you're your cheapest commodity. You're out talking to people because you already paid for it, right? I mean, for the most part, you're already paid for it. So you're able to go out there and talk to people, and if you use your cell phone or your cell face-to-face, and you're out talking to people this way or this way, it's going to get you much better results than the trickle method of marketing. Marketing pipelines are slow and take consistency. Now, I want to just, a last thing to say on Trickle Business. There are a lot of agents that are top agents that have built a business using Trickle marketing, but they've done it consistently enough and strategically enough that it has created for them awareness, and is actually what we call the branding idea, is they have actually created their brand or their recognition, so they're actually recognized in their market, in their community, or in their neighborhoods, or whatever it is, that there is their designated market area, that they actually have become known. And that makes it, that's the one way that this is extremely effective, is if you're willing to do it, but it typically takes years and years to do it. So let me just kind of show you a way to kind of make all this come full circle. The goal here is to do it in a way that's profitable and that's effective, and understand it's Trickle. My goal is not so much to generate immediate business out of this as it is to take people out of this pipeline and move them into that pipeline, because now I have relationship. And I'm hitting people strategically enough that they're seeing it over and over and over again. So what Trickle marketing typically does is, Trickle marketing really is more of a support pipeline than anything else. It's kind of like a safety valve. And it supports all the stuff that I'm doing proactively. And the other thing is, everything that I'm doing, eventually, my goal is, as a real estate agent, if you want to really be one of the real estate's new experts, here is the real goal of that. That is that eventually this one pipeline, the personal circle, has more than enough business flowing through it to create all the business, all the income, all the wealth I could ever want. And so what am I doing is, these three pipelines ultimately are feeder pipelines into this one. So I go after the turbo, I get a lot of business, and every time I get one, whether, let's say I take an expired listing, and I connect with them, but they're not selling now. But I connect with them and I create a relationship. I may not get business from them right away, but if I can move them up into this pipeline, boom, I got future business. And that pipeline over time will consistently feed me business over and over and over again. So the goal is, every time I get a deal or I get a lead out of this, is not only am I trying to convert the lead or obviously convert the deal, but I am also taking that and bringing it full circle back around, so it feeds into this personal circle pipeline to create over and over and over business. So that is, this is my marketing seminar, and the reality is, it's all about generating pipelines that will generate you consistent, predictable, and duplicatable business that will continually be compounding and growing, that your pipelines will be growing because the volume of business that's flowing through them is continually increasing because of the activities you're taking on a daily basis. So hope that helps. If you have any questions, please comment and share below. Feel free to reach out to me and ask me questions. If you're on our coaching call, if you're in our coaching program, then feel free to ask questions on this, and I'll certainly be happy to help you with all that. I love doing this training on demand. When you have questions, send them to me, share and comment on them, and we'll make sure that we answer it and give you great quality training to help you reach your goals in business as real estate's new listing experts.